Do you want to know how to start a career in the seafarer industry? Or are you already a seafarer and you want to know how to grow in that industry? Watch our new segment for our channel. Today, we'll have Captain Dexter as our guest to share to us his story about being a seafarer. How did he start and how did he grow from having the position, the starting position as a seafarer and became a captain? And did he really wanted to become a captain when he was young? So that's something that we will find out for today. So let us watch and at the same time chat. Let's talk with Captain Dexter Kapoy to know more about how he became successful in his career. Because if he did it, we both believe that you can also do it. This episode is very special for all of you because we're inviting guests who are actually successful in their respective industry, because we also want you to become successful in the industry that you have chosen, and looking forward that you will learn a lot from our guest for this program. And to start our initial episode, we have a captain. He is a captain of one of the ships that sail in different parts of the world. What is his story? Success story as a captain. Did he really start as a seafarer? What were the challenges that he had to overcome? And do you have plans to become a seafarer, or maybe thinking, will I venture in this career? Or if you're taking maritime courses, maybe, a lot of you are thinking, how is it really like in the operation? This video is simply for all of you because now you'll have an idea how simple and humble young man became very successful and became a captain. So everyone, today we have and we want to welcome no other than Captain Dexter Kapoy. So everyone, let us all welcome our guest for today. He graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Marine Transportation in the University of Cebu Maritime Education Center in the year 1998. He actually started his international career in the year 2022, and then 12 years after or later, he became a full-fledged captain in the year 2014, commanding bulk and lug ships, handling a variety of products like grain, steel products, fertilizer, minerals, logs, and a lot more. And everyone, that's why I'm so excited. In the year 2016, he was even awarded as the best captain and at the same time having the best maintenance ship. Well, I do have quite a lot of questions and I know you do too. So let us be inspired with our guest for today. No other than let us all welcome and give him a virtual round of applause. Let us welcome Captain Dexter Kapoy. Hi, Captain.
Hello, Coach Jamey. Thank you for having me here on your show. And good day, everyone. Thank you so much for guesting me here. And I hope that you will be inspired by my story, how I become successful as a captain.
Yes, indeed. Actually, Dex, excited ako talaga. I'm very excited on how to hear. I know Captain Dexter, his story. That's why when I thought of who will I invite as my guest, he's really one of those na nasa top ng list ko. Because we definitely would want to share to all of you paano ba ang journey ng isang seafarer. And at the same time, talaga bang pangarap ni Captain Dexter ang maging seafarer? Naku, malalaman natin sa kanya yan. I'll give the floor to him, and I just simply want to ask Captain Dex, I just would like to ask, how many years have you been a seafarer?
Yeah, actually, it's been a long time already. So I will be 20 years this coming June. So
Wow!
it's a long journey already.
Yes, exactly. Wow. I believe in that 20 years, there are like what we call rich and vast experiences that you've gained as a seafarer. What are the types of ships that you have been on board? Like, is it a tanker, cargo?
Yes, all my ship was a cargo ship. So I handled so many kinds of cargoes like minerals, grains, concentrates, lags, coal, sulfur, and many more. Just like the typical cargo ship. And we're trading worldwide.
Wow. How estimate, do you know? Because a lot of people, when you think of seafarer, the usual question that they will ask, how many countries do you estimate have you traveled to?
Oh, actually, that's a lot. Huh? So
You lost count
let's say
already.
70 countries or more.
Wow, that's a lot. Because I'm a seafarer myself, so that's why I'm happy to talk and chat with Captain Dexter, because I'm a seafarer myself, but it's in a cruise line, so it's different. I believe for Captain Dexter, they sailed in more countries. Because for me, the countries we sailed to, Captain, is just like very limited. And then,
Yeah.
Captain, usually for your crew, how many crew members and officers do you usually have? Just an estimate, so that at least our viewers will have an idea.
Yeah, for normal cargo ship, the normal crew from 20 to 21.
Okay, 20 to 21. Okay, that's still quite a lot. And then usually, how many nationalities do we have?
In my 20 years of experience, I work with different nationalities like Ukrainians, Russian, Romanian, Greek, Indian. So, and the rest is Filipino.
Oh, okay. So really quite a lot of nationalities. So we can say that, you really have to deal with it. Oh, and by the way, how did you start? Did you start, what position did you start on the ship?
Yeah, I started as from the lowest rank, which is the cadet. So, but I started my career in domestic. So I started as the cadet. Then when I started my international ship, so I started as the second rank, which is ordinary seaman.
Wow, okay. So you really started from,
Yeah, from the bottom.
the start, yes, at the bottom of the ladder. So what one great news about that is everyone, because like what I'm seeing, for those who are now starting, or you might be in the same position as Captain Dexter had started, you might be an ordinary seaman right now, or the cadet, right? So there's hope.
Yes, they
There's really great hope when it comes to that. We'll talk more about that in a little while. But then again, Captain Dexter, I just would like to ask, how would you describe your leadership style as a captain?
Yeah, as a captain, I am more on participative and democratic way of captain. So I usually implement teamwork and accept opinions. So I believe that to be successful in all operation on board, it's much easier if we have teamwork. And because if we have teamwork, we can be successful in one common goal.
And that is important, especially you are on board and sailing, right, Captain? How do you think your crew member? What do you usually hear from your crew member? How do they describe you as a leader?
They describe me as a good leader because I usually keep in touch with the crew. So I remove the barriers. Usually, when you say captains, most most likely they say, "Oh, this captain is authoritarian."
Yes, most of the time
For
that's
me,
what they
I
say.
remove that barriers. I
That's
remove
good.
that barriers to have a better relationship with my crew. And
And
the second one,
mhm.
uh, I always make sure that my crew is happy during my time. So I used to it in all my ships. Um, I always find ways to create so many recreations on board, like having a weekly party, swimming, basketball, yoga, anything, you name it. So
Nice.
yes, so that's a good thing that my crew loves me, and they cared for me so much because they were so happy during my time together with them.
And that's what is important, Captain Dex, because again, just like what you've said, I believe on board, if people, like a lot of people might not know it, or maybe you have heard about it, we really work hard, right, as a seafarer. But
Yeah,
at least, just like what when Captain actually was describing that, I can see that he is maintaining work-life balance. Imagine, so with all those activities, that really helps, right, Captain? Because
yes,
again, as crew members, even if no matter how many years have we been sailing, sometimes people still feel homesick.
correct. And one more thing that I can really proud of is
Uh-huh.
as a captain, I
Mm-hmm.
never left my crew during hard work situation. For example, like cleaning cargo holds, which is requires a high degree of management and operation. Sometimes, when you are a cargo ship, uh, your next port is very close, and you have a very what you call this. That time is very short time, so I need to be with my crew. I mean, I help my crew in cleaning the holds. I lead as an example in order to give them more motivation, because sometimes when we did a whole cleaning operation, sometimes um, almost 24 hours we have no sleep. So I need to be there in order to give them more motivation and guidance.
And that is actually what you can describe as you walk the talk. And the
Yeah,
team knows that, you're actually for them, especially when the time arises that they need you to be one of them. You lead by example. And I really love that.
exactly.
And I think that is what your crew can see. And not only that, they can also feel as a captain that you care for them. Because I believe working with different captains too, for 4 years when I was working as a seafarer, it really makes a difference if the captain, you see that, they can understand you, they walk the talk. And I believe, just like what you said, that is how your team member sees you. And then on that note, in 2016, just like what I've mentioned earlier, you had been awarded as the best captain and also for having the best maintenance ship. Tell me what characteristics and skills do you have that really helped you achieve this?
Actually, I always give all my best in all ship assignments. So way back 2016, I was so lucky that my previous company awarded for those captains who did their best for the ship and for the crew. So that year was very memorable to me because my ship was performing well, um, with a safe and efficient operation, but also we passed multiple port state control inspection with zero deficiency. And not
Ah,
only that, I transformed the my ship from 15-year-old look to 3 years old look. So when my
oh,
superintendent visited the ship, he was so amazed not only by the ship's performance, but when he interviewed the crew, he found out that all the crew was very happy, and he saw also that we had a lot of recreation equipment.
oh,
So I was featured to the company newspapers, and then because I was new to that company. Um, uh, they want me to be a good example to other masters.
Wow, that really is a great example, Captain Dexter, because, from a 15-year-old look, you can just imagine a ship that is 15 years old, and then you were able to transform it to a
Yes, correct.
3-year-old look. It's like a glow up, right? Or ganda,
Mhm.
balik alindog for the ship. And it means you and your team actually really exerted great effort, and for the company to actually recognize that and to be featured in the, magazine or the newspaper
Yes,
of the company. Exactly what you've said. They want you to be because you're an inspiration. They see that you are an inspiration. Number one, to the crew members that you work with, because they were so happy, and the equipment
yeah,
that you've mentioned. So I think that really makes a difference, right? Because they can actually help. You helped them to have that work-life balance. Plus, I think the ambience, the environment that you are creating. Yes, they have to work hard, but at the same time, you're giving them that space that take
yes,
time also
correct.
to at least balance that. And speaking of newspaper, Captain Dex, I also have known, when I was actually taking a look at your career success, you've been featured in two, like in a newspaper or newspapers, right? Local and at the same time international. Could you tell us more about, like, when you were featured in the New Zealand newspaper?
Okay. So that was July 2014.
Uh-huh.
So 1 month since I got promoted as captain.
Uh-huh.
So my ship sailed New Zealand. It was fully loaded with logs, and we are headed to China. So it was a stormy day, and a sudden call received from New Zealand Search and Rescue. Um, he told us to carry out search and rescue operation for a distress call from a sinking yacht with three crew on board. So that time, we were the only ships close to the sinking yacht, about 60 miles. We responded a call, and at the same time, we informed the office and got a go signal to proceed. And I activated the search and rescue team, and New Zealand Coast Guard was also being informed by the New Zealand Search and Rescue.
Mhm.
So the good thing is, before we arrived on the scene, on the sinking yacht, before it was stormy, but before we arrived, the skies are clearing and the wind is going down. And then we arrived almost the same time with the New Zealand Coast Guard. But the New Zealand Coast Guard told us, okay, just stand by, and we will be the one to rescue the crew, the sinking yacht, because we are fully loaded with logs, and it's quite difficult for us to carry out the search and rescue operation. So they said us to stand by, and one thing that they did is they sent divers to pick up the crew from the water.
Mm.
So fortunately, the crew were saved, and then the yacht was not totally sunk. Then after that, after a few days, um, my office informed me that we are being featured in New Zealand newspaper. So, and
Wow.
so the good thing, it lasts up to 2 weeks on the headline.
Oh, you were in the headline for
Yeah,
2 long weeks. Wow.
yeah.
And it's great that at least, you were able to respond very quickly in emergencies such as this, because, it really the time really matters, right,
Yes,
Captain,
yes.
regarding this one. And you were headline for 2 weeks in New Zealand, and that did not stop, right, Captain Dexter? Because I believe in the Philippine newspaper for Today News, you were also featured last 2021 in responding to a call from India Coast Guard to carry out another search and rescue operations. Could you tell us something more about this, Captain?
Yes, actually, it's very new.
Uh-huh.
It was
Oh yeah,
last
last
December,
year. Mm-hmm.
2021. No,
Uh-huh.
so the ship is heading to India for discharging cargo. While we are sailing on Indian Ocean around 9 a.m., 9 o'clock. So my third officer informed me that he saw a sunken fishing boat from our port side. So we did a check, and then I saw the fishing boat was totally damaged. So I informed the Indian Coast Guard, and we received advice to carry out the search and rescue operation. So I also informed my office, and we got the approval. So when we did the search and rescue operation, we saw how badly damaged these fishing boats. So, but unfortunately, so we stayed there around 15 to 20 minutes circling the damaged fishing boats.
Mm-hmm.
But very unfortunate because we cannot find any survivors in the water. So I called again the Indian Coast Guard that we cannot find any survivors in the water. So we received advice to continue our voyage, and then we live with a heavy heart because we when you really see the actual condition of the sunken fishing boats, you really think what happened to that crew that was on board on that fishing boats. We left, and I pray to God that, oh, I hope that someone saved the life of a fisherman. Someone did search before us. So when I posted this in Facebook, so a lot of people saying good things, and then it was reached to the one of the newspapers locally. It's Pinas Today, so he shared this also to not only in Facebook but also to other social media.
Mm-hmm. And that's, that only shows Captain Dexter, one, the alertness. I believe, search and rescue is one of the toughest that, that, because on top of what we are actually doing on board, and then doing search and rescue, that's something that is not easy, but it only goes to show that, as a captain, at the same time for the crew, everyone was aware. Because again, in the other, was it the crew who actually saw the fishing boat? Did I get that correctly, Captain?
Yeah, actually, my third officer was the one first saw these fishing boats. He called me, and then when I went to the bridge, oh, I see that the fishing boats were totally damaged. So after I called the Indian Coast Guard, he told me to carry out a search and rescue operation. So without any doubt, so we did the search and rescue operation.
And everyone, so to all our audience, it really requires, skills, right, Captain? So in order to carry this out and to carry this out with confidence and at the same time a skill, that's really quite great because it's not only once but several times they have to do it. And again, with this, and there are others that are not published in the newspaper, Captain, but doing this really helps other people in distress, especially in the sea, because the sea is quite vast, and sometimes incidents like this actually do happen. And just like what Captain Dexter had mentioned, hoping and praying that the crew, though they were not able to find any, just like in the previous one that they had in New Zealand, so but hoping maybe someone else had reported that earlier and they can be saved. But again, having that, I'm doing that search and rescue mission that really is very important. Now, on that note, Captain, because with all these achievements and at the same time, the help that you have given to people in distress, like in the sea, and of course, to your crew members by giving them work-life balance, your achievements are indeed very inspiring. Now, I believe all our audience watching us from different parts of the world, especially our seafarers. So hello to all the seafarers. Captain Dexter and I would simply want to say hello to all of you.
Hello.
Mabuhay, mga seafarers. Now, we'll even talk something more that I believe will be inspiring to all of you, because we would love to know, how did you start your career as a seafarer? Some of our viewers are just starting their career as a seafarer, or maybe they're thinking, will I become a seafarer? So let us talk and go back a little in time, Captain Dexter. Since you were a kid, or when you were young, I'm just very curious, and maybe others who are watching are thinking too, have you always dreamed of becoming a seafarer?
Actually, I don't have any plan to become a seafarer. So I like to work as a hotel manager. I love to wear long sleeves and ties. It's really nice looking. but my family was the one pushed me to become a seafarer, because they say that my uncle has good life. No, he was a seafarer. He has a good life, a nice house, a nice car, and it mean, okay, don't take other course. Just follow your uncle, because he has now a good house, a nice car. So I think you
So
should
you
have the same
followed,
life.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you followed his footstep. And
Yes.
well, so when you followed his footstep and looking at it now, what can you say that you followed
Um,
his footstep?
yes. Actually, I'm happy. Actually, it's not what really my plan, but
Mm-mm.
having a life of a seafarer is really good, because
Mm-hmm.
it has a big advantage compared to other profession.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
I was able to give a good life to my family, and when it comes to finances, that means
Mm-hmm.
it's a big thing. Um, yeah, because of my job, I had a lot of dreams that started to materialize because of
That's
my
great.
profession. Yeah.
And I believe everyone, if the dreams of Captain Dexter, just like what you've said, started to materialize and come true, let us also take a look. Because I believe in order for him to actually get where he is right now, he also started somewhere. So he did mention already a while ago, but I asked him again so that at least, again, listen very well to all the maritime students and anyone who is thinking to become a seafarer. Captain Dex, I just would like to ask again. So what was your first position when you started as a seafarer, and then what were your positions until you became a captain, so that at least others also can
Mm.
think that it's possible. I can do this.
So I started from the bottom. I started as the cadet. Then the second position is ordinary seaman. The third one is able-bodied seaman, which is EB. And the fourth position was third mate, then second mate, then chief mate, then the higher is captain. So
Wow.
I pass all the stages.
Yes, exactly. I was just thinking like all of those positions, because also like in the cruise line, we also have like those positions from the deck team. But just like what you've said, it's even tougher when you are actually in the cargo, or like the ships that you're actually sailing. And then becoming a captain, indeed, it takes a lot of challenges, captain, right? So
Yeah.
kindly just give me, with all the challenges, at least top three challenges you and your team had to overcome when you were sailing.
Actually, um, only one major challenges.
Uh-huh.
Normally for seafarer is only bad weather.
Ah.
Yes. So when you encounter bad weather, captain has to be alert anytime, and he has to be proactive, plan accordingly, because um, in order to avoid or caught by the storm or any bad weather, because it's life threatening.
Yeah,
So that is,
definitely.
for me, that is the biggest, because normally from operations sometimes it's normal, like wear and tear, but for the weather, you cannot predict, and it's very life-threatening. And so many masters are really feared what is
Yeah.
what with and so many masters don't like to stay longer because of they had trauma already.
That's the thing. So, those are the things that you really have to be brave for. I remember Captain Dexter, my first few, because like the first few months that I was sailing, it was okay. It was not that rocky, but where there are like certain locations, right? And depends on the time, just like what you've said, the weather itself. It's not the place, but the weather that sometimes it becomes rocky. And although Captain, I try to walk straight, for example, on board, but it seems as if I'm
Yeah.
voluntarily moving because of what we call the waves, right? But then again, everyone, for those who are listening, it's just like for us, like seafarers, we understand that sometimes we simply dance with the waves. But just like what Captain had mentioned, indeed, that's why it needs what we call the skills, and at the same time also the courage to become a seafarer, because you have to face these life-threatening challenges. And in order for you to successfully really not only overcome but win over, just like for him, imagine how many search and rescue missions and a lot of different types of voyages that he have had, and they were able to actually make it. It's only a matter of what we call courage and determination. And Captain, just like what
Exactly.
you've said, of course, it's very important. He did mention a while ago, before I asked the last question, that from his possession as a position as a deck cadet, and then he became, like, from all the positions, he was able to actually get into those positions. I believe that was also very helpful, Captain, right? Because at least now, when you are in that leadership position, at least you understand. I
Yes.
believe that's why you have the heart. What I can see is, did it help a lot, Captain, that you can understand all your team members role? That's why it's easy for you to also lead them very well.
Yes, correct, Coach Jamie. Actually, it really helps because when you reach the highest position, you must understand the kind of job that from all of your crew. So for me, that was my good foundation. So
Yeah.
starting from the lowest rank and passing all the positions.
Yes, and I think I love what you've said, and I really can see and can tell with what you have mentioned. That's why it's a good start, and you can easily relate to them, because a good leader doesn't only, command people to do something, but at the same time understands very well, what they are doing. So, and I think that makes a difference. Listening to all the stories that Captain Dexter Kappa had shared to us indeed are very inspiring. And this is just part 1 of our episode. Watch out for part 2, where we will share how did Captain Dexter Kappa started in his working career. Did he actually started as a seafarer? How did he start? And at the same time, how did he overcome his challenges as a seafarer before becoming a seafarer? Those are what we will be discussing and some more in our next episode. So I'll see you everyone for our part 2, where we will talk and discuss even more. So with that, everyone, if you find this video very inspiring and very helpful for you, please click like, and I'm inviting you to subscribe to my channel so that you'll get more inspiring videos aside from travel guidelines and protocols from my channel. And I look forward to see all of you in our part 2 for this episode. And this is Global Trainer Jamey Iris, who definitely equips you and empowers you for success. So I'll see you in our next episode for Let's Talk About Career Success.